This is Christian Stereotypes Part 2, Cliff. Let's talk about it. Okay, another Christian stereotype.
Oh, that Christians don't like sex.
Oh! Wait. Okay, that's a good one. That's an excellent one, Chandra.
How do you think
that Christians don't like sex?
How do you think they keep getting large families? Oh my God. It's not by osmosis.
Is it because the idea is that this may have to do with Christian male dominance culture? The idea that, or at least the stereotype and the belief that Christian men, don't desire to please their wives or are not required to please their wives in intercourse and intimacy.
What?
Well, you know what I'm saying?
I'm just going to nod along with you.
This makes Chandra so uncomfortable.
Because I don't like sex.
Because she's a Christian. She's a real Christian. I'm not that great at it. So it makes her super uncomfortable, as it should make every good Christian. No, but I do think there is a stereotype that Christian men, it's not been positively enforced that Christian men should look to please to make sure that their wives are enjoying intimacy, like really enjoying themselves in intimacy, which...
See, you're a man, so you have a whole different perspective because you've talked to other men.
Okay.
Whereas as a girl, I don't really go around talking about sex to other men other than to my husband. So I didn't know that was a thing that you all thought.
Okay, it's not a thing that I think we don't have to worry about pleasing our women.
Yeah, but is that a perspective people have?
I think that's a perspective. It's just a Christian. He's going to work his job, come in, and he doesn't care if she feels good or not with it. And I think that's unfair today, because I think so many Christian couples right now, which Christian couples have a higher record of staying together, have a lower divorce rate, even though divorce is rampant, Christian or not Christian, and it's a tragedy in my opinion. But so many Christian couples right now are in counseling. So many Christians recommend counseling to couples, and they talk about intimacy. And so I think it's an unfair, whether it was an earned stereotype or not, based on male dominance culture and patriarchal dominance in Christianity. I think it's unfair to make that assessment and that assumption now, because so many men are being told by counselors that yes, if you want a happy marriage, you both need to be looking to please each other and make sure on every level, including intimacy.
Okay. I don't know. We might cut all this because this gets into weird territory. But as a man,
just because we're Christians,
no. As a man, did you have like a talk with your father? Like, do men teach each other how to make their wives happy?
No, never had that talk.
Interesting.
Did you ever have a talk with your mom about pleasing a man?
Not about pleasing a man, but about
because that would reinforce Christian stereotypes that she's like, no, listen, you got to please your man, and I'm like,
no,
my dad never talked to me about it.
My family's stance was always, sex is wonderful, but we want you to do it within marriage. But it's one of the funnest things you can do with your partner. And she didn't say this to me, but I'm pretty sure my mother told this to my brother was, I don't think you can put this on.
My family always...
But I know she taught him to pay attention and listen to his spouse.
Well, my family's stance on sex was like, it didn't exist.
Oh.
That's the way I feel growing up. That
we were pretty open about it.
That I had to figure things out on my own.
Oh, that's the problem.
Cutting that out. But
this is so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable. But no, the idea, I think, in reality, I think especially in modern Christian culture, Christians believe that sex is like the closest thing. It's like the best way I can describe it is I heard a pastor once say that it might be a glimpse into heaven, what heaven's like that feeling. Okay, so this is getting a little weird, but the feeling of orgasm, he was saying, might very well be what if when you get in heaven, it's 24/7 that feeling. Like, what if that's a window into what heaven feels like? Because you think about it, no pain,
Yeah.
no suffering of any kind, just joy continually. Like, he's like, what if that physical feeling that God made for us here is just a peekaboo into what heaven is like? And I was like, that's really cool. That's just, maybe totally off the mark, but it's really cool.
I think it'll probably be a whole new feeling we've never thought about.
Probably.
Yeah. Probably better than sex.
As far as I know, most Christians, at least my age or below, believe this. Sex is a whole lot of fun. It's wonderful and enjoyable, and God made it for you to enjoy in marriage. And if you want to enjoy it often, make sure it's good for both parties.
That's a PSA, I guess.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you like it, make sure it's good for both people. Period.
Well, but see, I don't think that's just a Christian thing. I think that's a human thing, especially for boys who no one taught them anything.
Money and intimacy are the two. I think they're the biggest reasons for divorce. Because if those two things aren't satisfied, money and intimacy aren't satisfied in your relationship, then what happens is next thing you know, you wind up getting divorced over you put the toilet paper where it comes from underneath versus over top. You get divorced over dumb little things, but they're all extensions of I'm not satisfied here. We don't have enough money. I wish you made enough money. I wish you were off my back about my money, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think those two things are what so many divorces just begin off of, and they want to be in one little straw that snaps the person. And if you just talked about it in the beginning and made sure that both parties were happy about those situations, way less divorce.
I think, how we were blaming other stuff on old people earlier?
Yeah.
I think that...
What? Those darn old people made all these horrible stereotypes. These cheap old people that never had sex.
Exactly. Because, there was that... I do know there was people
We're getting canceled.
People who did not know the Bible that would say stuff about you can't because it said it's better to spill your seed onto the ground into the belly of a woman or something like that. No, it was awesome. But they would say you can't enjoy yourself.
Self-pleasure.
Yeah.
That might be the word we go with.
Sex became taboo in some Christian cultures, I think. Because of the old people.
I can see the thumbnail for this one right now. Christians and sex. We talked about nothing else the entire male dominance culture in Christianity. The idea, it stems from passages in the New Testament where they say a woman should be silent in church and shouldn't teach and all these kind of things. She should teach at the home. And then that Judeo-Christian model of what the home looks like, of
a man at the
head, the man working and the woman raising the kids and cooking dinner and stuff like that has been a way to brand Christians as wanting a female to be subordinate.
And to tell you the truth, I think that's true.
Well, and there, like I said, that may be an earned stereotype, but I think that's misrepresenting Christianity because was it Ecclesiastes or Solomon where he talks about the passage that talks about the woman, the sought after woman, the woman who takes charge of her own business, commands her household, and goes out there. Yeah. Proverbs 31, is that what it? Proverbs 31. I couldn't talk. But yeah, I think that's the woman that is to be desired, the one that you want to seek after.
Yeah.
And that represents a competent partner. And I think people take things out of context. I think Paul, when he said that the woman should be silent and stuff in the church, you have to remember that Paul was celibate, and so I wonder what that's doing to somebody, like psychologically and emotionally, like the choice to be celibate. I'm sure he's dealing with some of his own issues, but at the same time, they were trying to create a church from the ground up, and there was a lot of gossip, a lot of backbiting, a lot of the Jewish women aren't being treated, or the Grecian women aren't being treated as well as the Jewish women, and all this kind of stuff. Yeah. And so I think sometimes somebody like Paul might bark out an order that seems good for a particular moment.
Yeah.
And that just tell them to be quiet so we can figure this out.
It doesn't mean it's an edict from God for all Christians for all time. Yeah.
Exactly. And again, so I think that's a misinterpretation of Scripture. People forgetting what the wisest man on the planet, Solomon, said is the kind of partner you want.
But once again, I don't think that's Christians necessarily. I know that that some Christians do have some problems, 100%. But I'm saying I think it may have started in a Christian realm,
Yes.
and a bunch of horrible people just took it and ran with it because they wanted to be top dog and have women submit to them.
Well, I will say this to be fair, in that Christianity does teach, and Judeo-Christian values do teach, that men need to be able to be willing to lay on the grenade for women and children. And because of that, if that's the expectation of men, a Christian man, to sacrifice yourself for women and children,
You're to be the lead servant.
Yeah, at that point, right, your commission then with that responsibility, you also are the one who's supposed to. It's that layer of protection. It kind of is supposed to be like a layer of protection from the world. Like you're the first one in the front line, representative of your family.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you're representing not your own selfish desires, the desires of your wife, and her desires are influenced by what's best for your children, your family as a whole. It's like that's how it's supposed to be. And because of that, it's a partnership.
Yeah.
And
the point is to get a good man, not just someone.
And to get a good woman.
Yes, I'm just saying, not just someone who says they're a Christian, but is genuinely a good person.
Well, and there are things that have led to that stereotype. One of them being the idea, some churches have the idea that you cannot have a lady preacher. That it reinforces that stereotype that Christians don't believe in strong women. And
it's so weird because I guess it's the bubbles you grew up in, because I grew up around a lot of really strong women, and a lot of them were pastors' wives, and they spoke in churches.
if you like this clip from the Not Gospel Studios YouTube channel, don't forget to share. Click on one of the other links and videos. You can find them here and here, and subscribe. I think it's down here. Tell your friends about us. Tell them that it's healthy, that it's vegan, and all of those things. Keep being awesome, because that's how God made you.